Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. Man, am I lucky today. I'm surrounded by three talented, beautiful human beings. They're also incredibly talented artists in their own right. And today I welcome Kristy Lee, Mimi Hwang, and Marlene London. We're going to talk about Kristy Lee Presents Finding Joy, which is at Mills Gallery in the Mills 50 district, from my dear friend Boris. But we are going to talk about art, finding joy, learn their stories. We're also drinking a little bit of champagne to celebrate. So welcome to the show, ladies. I'm so excited and honored to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're so honored to be here.
So it's always fun when Kristy comes on, and I'm super excited to have Mimi and Marlene on. I love the arts. I love anything art related. Working on an art show with my dear friend Boris, Art AF. But we're going to talk about them today instead of always talking about me. We're going to start with the one and only Kristy Lee. Kristy Lee is an artist, world-renowned artist. Her pictures, her paintings are beautiful. You really need to check her out. I'll put her link and all of the artists' link in the comments below. Kristy's about to launch her new podcast, Shit I Don't Know.
No, shit I need to know.
Oh, shit I need to know. Well, see, there it is.
It's
so Ted
almost
needs
the same.
that. You know what? It's a fantastic idea, though. And welcome back to the show, Kristy. Tell us a little bit about you, and then you're going to introduce the ladies.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know, I'm Kristy Lee. I'm the artist in residence and a curator at Mills Gallery, along with 5 other special people that help pull the exhibitions together. You know, we're on Mills. It's 1650 North Mills. So I'm hoping that everybody will come out. Our exhibition for these 2 lovely ladies is on the 3rd, May 3rd, from 6 to 8. And we're expecting it to be a phenomenal show. So they're bringing some of their newest pieces and some not as new, but wonderful pieces. So I'm hoping everybody's going to come down and see it. And with that said, I'd like to introduce you officially to Mimi Hwang.
Hello, hello.
And Marlene London.
Hi.
So we'll start with you all, because one of the things that I love to do is get to know the artist, get to know the guest, and for people to kind of know a little bit of background. Some artists are born and the first thing they do before they speak is paint or draw, and their parents know that they're artists. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey. And because the camera is interesting, I'm going to start here with Mimi Hwang. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I was born in Chicago. I have Chinese heritage, and I loved drawing as a child, but I was a very good Chinese daughter and went to school and became a psychologist in psychology and eventually into the corporate world. But my parents painted. My father was a great watercolorist, a great scientist that came to America. So my background, my drive with art as my expression is a path toward authenticity, and it has all the bicultural elements in it that a lot of immigrants in this country face, but it is my own story. And so that's kind of
beautiful story. I have lots of questions for you. I'll ask them after I introduce Marlene. Marlene London is with us as well. Tell us a little bit about you, Marlene.
Gosh, I've been painting since I was a little girl. I mean, my father was a dress designer in a company, and then he owned a bird window display company, and we would make birds out of feathers, and that was when I was 6. So I've really been painting all my life. Forever. It feels like forever. I had a clothing design company where I did all the graphics, and so I've always been in the arts. And then one day I decided I have to paint paintings, real paintings, and that's been 35, 40 years. So it's been a very long journey, and one that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. So
I think it's always interesting to see where it starts. I had no art. I still can't draw a stick figure, so I'm enamored by anyone who has any kind of artistic ability. Tell me when you all knew that this is what you wanted as a career. It's one thing to have a passion for it. It's another thing to do it as your livelihood, as your life's work. I know artists that do it part-time. They paint on the side and they don't know how to make it a business, make it a vocation. So can you tell me the moment that you all decided, and we can start with Kristy, how you decided that when it came to fruition?
Well, when I was a child, I grew up a little bit on the poor side, so I didn't have the tools to do the art that I would like to have done all through my life. So I went into the hair business, which is a form of art, still has the balance and shapes and whatnot. And then when my youngest son went off to college, it was my invitation to go and finally dive into what I wanted to do. And I just knew always that that's where I was going to end up. And I love it. I paint every day. It's my passion for myself, and also it's my passion to help other artists to be able to live their dreams and to be able to maybe make a living or help them with different ideas on how that might happen for them. Yeah.
And how about you, Mimi? I know you're sitting here probably psychoanalyzing us now that I know you have a psychology background. Tell us when you knew, all right, I'm going to do art full time. This is my passion. I'm going to make it my life's work.
Yeah. And I really only made that decision maybe 8 years ago when I was still in a corporate life, very hard corporate life, on the road, consulting, all that. And I was scheming for my life as an artist, as an authentic person on my own agenda, where creativity would be like the gem. So it was only a few years ago that I decided that. And, you know, I'm organized, so I went at it a little methodically, but I am self-taught. I worried about that. You know, I got a studio to, you know, I didn't want anyone to call it a hobby. But I thought about creativity in my left brain way, like, is it 10,000 hours? You know, is it a muse that comes over me? Will I call up on my mother and father? You know, like, it was such a journey inside, you know, to learn how to mine all those things. I knew I wanted to be an abstract expressionist. I knew I was never going to have enough technical skill to be like a representational, you know, portrait painter or something like that. But I always wanted to use it to express my emotions. And it certainly has been that. And the moment, I think your question was when I thought it would be a career. You know, I think you come to that point where, you know, you sort of fight being commercial, you're fighting for your authenticity, you're always on that blade of content and marketing and, you know, how you're going to do that. But I think once an artist realizes that we do live in this world and your work is valued by money, that it's not selling yourself out. It's just how it's valued. It's not just being seen and understood, but it's what people will give to have a piece of you in their home.
Yes.
So
well said.
it's a big revelation.
Well said.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah.
All right. How about you, Marlene?
Oh, gosh. I knew, I would say about 20 years ago, I knew that this was my life. And I had already gotten an English degree, so I wasn't about to go to college again. But I started working at workshops with very famous artists. I picked and chose who I wanted to work with, who were more abstract, who were more in the vein that I saw myself going into. And I worked with them, and I traveled and went to see different cultures and their art. I mean, I did all of this on my own and then just went for it. I started to paint and got in a gallery. And from there, I've just painted. I paint every day, just like Mimi. I mean, and Kristy, we paint every day. We are driven to paint. We have to paint. It's our way of expressing our joys, our sadnesses, all of it. It just comes out on the canvas, and it's a wonderful journey because you can just keep going and going and going and never stop.
Reinventing yourself.
And reinventing yourself constantly. Right. Absolutely. So.
Thank you guys for sharing that, because I'm always fascinated by the point, because so many people don't get to experience their passion as their vocation, and they end up going through life and having regrets and things they wish they had done. And so it's always beautiful to see people who are living out that dream and that passion. All right, let's talk about finding joy, Kristy. Finding joy. How did the exhibit come together, and what is the meaning behind finding joy?
Okay, first let me say that these two very super talented women have been working in the industry here in the Orlando area and other places as well for a really long time. So I knew they had the quality of the art that we wanted to present at Mills. I have recently gotten a little bit closer with them and kind of learned a lot more about their stories. And without going into too much detail with that, I found that this was a perfect time for the two of them to put out, I felt, their most meaningful work. And so when we got together and we talked about how that can happen for them, we got a little deeper into that, and maybe they want to share any of that themselves. But I just felt that this was the right connection. The two work together so well. They even, I think they tie each other's shoe. I'm not sure. But
they have great shoes on today.
But they're a great team. They're a great team. Super easy to work with. And I am so passionate about their work, and I know that they're going to do wonderful things. So we're honored at Mills to have them with this exhibition. So with that said, maybe they would like to speak a little bit more about finding joy.
Please do. Mimi?
Oh, gosh. Well, as I think I've said, my work is trying to express my feelings and get my brain out of the way as much as I can, you know, and that's been a long journey for me. You know, for a while, you don't even know what your feelings are about anything. You get so cut off and, you know, about life's objectives and achievements and how you're being measured and, you know, all that stuff, you know, that cuts you off from your feelings. So all that is terribly important to me. You know,
but it's a wonderful place to be able to put it on a canvas.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah. And so that brings you, as I said, you know, like if you, whatever life, everybody has hardships, or in my case, tragedy, happiness, but, and you may have to journey through that in your creativity, some of the dark side, but in I chose to express the joy of expanding my heart through all these trials and tribulations, that I would look for how I grew, and it would come out joy.
Can you tell us a little bit, for everybody who doesn't know what's coming yet, the difference of what's new to your art? Like, I know that you have changed some of your, same with you, have added some new features to your art, or things that you have now been able to put into your different paintings that's different from what you had before. Maybe you can talk a little about that.
I would say, well, I've had a couple of tragedies in my recent life, and I have started to paint in a way that almost reaches the other side in my mind. I try to reach the losses that I've had, and in doing so, I'm creating portals in my new work. I'm creating sort of pop landscapes where I can explore and let my mind go. And it helps me with the grief in my life tremendously, because I'm painting these crazy landscapes that I've never painted before.
Which are beautiful, by the way.
Oh God,
absolutely
thank you.
Spectacular.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. They're a little wild, but it's a place that I go that's totally in my imagination. It's all imaginary to me, but it brings me joy. And since my tragedies, I've learned to go there as much as I can to help me through living. So it's a journey, as Mimi said, and as Kristy said, you know, we're going through a journey, and as long as we're able to explore that journey and really get in it, I mean, it's just an amazing path.
It's profound.
Profound. All of you are profound.
Oh my God, we're artists.
I don't know. Wow, here we go.
Brother.
So I think it's so important for people to understand your perspective and where you're coming from, because I think that makes the art even more exciting and personal for people.
Yes.
So I want to ask, last question before we talk about the event. Since the title is Finding Joy, we'll start with you, Marlene. When I say the word joy, what's the first thing or person who comes to mind for you? Well,
now I have a grandbaby. And everybody told me, wait until you have a grandbaby. It's going to change your life. And my God, it has. It is, I see my son in him, and I paint him. with a big smile on his face. And so that's a whole new element in my life that that inspires a lot of my landscapes and my visuals. It's all happy. It's happy.
Yeah.
Right. So it's wonderful that I have that and I can share that. And now I'm starting to teach young kids how to get that. And it's changed my life. So
beautiful. Grandchildren, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
Yes.
Mimi, how about you when I say the word joy?
You got to teach yourself and others how to grab that right out of your inner psyche, you know. And when I think about joy, I think about, past my dark days, is there's sudden resilience and strength in the human spirit. I always felt like my art had a spiritual, because I have an Asian influence where, art was born out of poetry and calligraphy and spiritual connection. You're not necessarily religious, but there is that in the way they have perspectives that go in the distance and go up and down. And, there's always a story and it gives you connection. And what I found in working through my art is that sense got deeper. Really got deeper, the feeling of connection. And I wanted to have the talent or some way of bringing that to my viewer. Like I want them to feel connected when they look at my art.
And it's powerful what they do.
Absolutely. And you do. And I think that in the past few years, I think that your art, and I've said this before, has elevated so much. And I think it's because you are putting in your own passion, your feelings, your heart.
Yes.
Much more. So
all right, Kristy, how about you when I say the word joy?
Well, I also have a grandchild. I have 3, but yeah, without going there, I think my biggest joy is when I can give back. I love when I can help somebody else. I mean, it's always wonderful as an artist for all of us to do our own thing and do it well. But when you can do something to help somebody else, there's a feeling that you get that you can't just experience without it. You know what I mean? Like I can do great stuff for myself and, and all that. But the little thing, when I do something little that helps somebody else, I get really a lot of joy from that. And it must be something, I don't know, up there.
Well, I feel like all of you are giving when you are sharing your authenticity and your vulnerability and your emotions. There's joy in seeing people's reactions to that as well. And seeing them connect on a level because they're all your babies, your paintings. And so when somebody sees it and they feel something, you can tell they're emoting. That's a beautiful gift and very joyful.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you. So tell us about the event as we wrap up, Kristy. How can people attend? Where do they go? How can they reach you? And the Mills Gallery website is scrolling on your screen there.
Yeah. Well, as I said before, it will be on May 3rd, the exhibition Finding Joy, starring Mimi Hwang and Marlene London. At Mills Gallery, 1650 North Mills. And we are happy to have that event from 6 to 8. I'll hope everybody will come down and see some of the newest works that these girls have done. And I'm sure you will agree that it's probably some of their best. So with that said, I hope that we can have a lot of people show up, come down, look at the art, introduce yourself to the artists and to us at Mills Gallery. And let's share a little toast.
Yes.
Cheers.
Here's to joy.
Cheers to joy.
Finding joy.
Finding joy. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.
May 3rd, Mills Gallery. The link is below and scrolling across your screen. If you need more information, reach out to me or Kristy or Boris. Thank you, ladies, for being on. What a blessing. We'll see you guys soon.
Wait, can I just add one more thing?
Please do.
We are honored to have Maxine from Maxine on Shine that will give up her time to be our host liqueur.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Now you're coming right.
Now that's absolutely.
Yeah, so come down, have a toast, have a drink, look at some beautiful art, and share this evening with all 3 of us.
Perfect.
We'd love to have you.
All right, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you. May 3rd, don't forget. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, you can just do it, and I'll cut that little bit out.
Right there. Just
You have to hit it twice, I think.
You girls look great.
Yeah, you guys were on